Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Financial Parenting. Financial parenting is the only conversation that practically shows you how to pass timeless money lessons and values to your next generation. But before we get into it, allow me to invite you to subscribe to this channel, to like this video, to share, and to also drop us a comment so that we can know your feelings and what you think about what we are talking about. So today I'll be introducing you to this interesting concept that I'm calling financial parenting. But before we get into financial parenting, let's first of all begin with understanding parenting as a concept. Largely speaking, different scholars, different people have viewed parenting in different ways, have defined parenting differently. But all of them seem to be saying a few similar things. All of them, for instance, seem to be saying that parenting is the process of child rearing. Well, we are used to rearing animals, but more or less the same thing. Parenting is child rearing. In other words, it's the deliberate process of supporting and promoting all-round child development from infancy to adulthood. But I think before I tell you a lot, allow me to mention at this early stage that in the world of parenting, there can never be a vacuum. Whether a parent is deliberately present or absent in the life of a child, parenting is constantly happening. The child is constantly taking shape. Again, the question that will be asked is, which shape is your child taking? And of course, as we talk about parenting, I'm addressing every parent, every person who has a child under their custody, under their care, whether biological or otherwise. It's also important at this point to mention that there is no one-size-fits-all kind of approach to parenting. Every parent has to take time to understand their particular child so that they can be able to come up with practical ways that speak to this particular child. In fact, even in the same household, we will have different approaches working for different children of the same parents. So you have to know your own child and be able to understand which approach would work for them. I have observed that there is a very huge gap in the parenting process, and that gap is parenting on money matters. And that is what I'm calling financial parenting. I have facilitated hundreds of financial literacy and business development conversations, and have encountered very many people who confess that no one spoke to them about money when they were growing up. I have had chance to train very many people in preparation for retirement, and very many people will verbalize and say of how they wish they knew certain concepts when they were still young. That tells us that there has been a gap, and that gap continues to exist. That we are not talking about money. And very many people are blaming their parents for not talking about money to them, not teaching them the values that would be helping them today in the world of money. The only interesting thing is that I keep reminding parents that if you will not do something today for your own children, as far as financial parenting is concerned, tomorrow they will also be referring to you when they will also be saying how their parents did not teach them about money. You have to do something. While it is true that you cannot do anything about your ancestors, you can do a lot about your descendants. And that is why we are here. That is why this conversation will be coming to you every Tuesday, so that we can be able to dissect this and get more practical, get deeper into it, and begin to see how we can be able together to influence the next generation. I have picked a few things that explain why many parents do not seem to be very deliberate or do not actually seem to be doing what financial parenting would be requiring of them. Many parents are struggling financially today, and they feel inadequate to be able to engage their own children in matters of money. What will I be telling my child if I am already a walking financial failure? My child can see I have nothing to tell them. I don't even have money myself. So many parents are actually waiting for the day they'll be able to get a lot of money so that they can come back and begin to do financial parenting. The only challenge, like I have told you in the world of parenting, is that there will never be a vacuum in that world. So as you are waiting for you to get a lot of money, and I don't know how big or how much is a lot of money or enough money, for you to be able to come back and begin to practice financial parenting, chances are very high that your own children will have grown and probably left your house, because we don't know how long it is going to take for you to be able to get the money that you're waiting to get. Number two, money conversations are still viewed as abnormal conversations in many families. We are coming from a history where we rarely talk about money. We rarely discuss money in public. We don't want to talk about money unless we are describing its inadequacy. A lot of times I have said we need to learn how to change our money vocabulary. Maybe money runs away from us because we are fond of disowning it even when it's in our pockets. So coming from that background, very many people find it a bit difficult to sit down with their children and begin to talk about money. We don't want to be asked difficult questions. We don't want our children to know how much we earn. Some of us do not want them to know what we do for a living and things like those. So because we view them as difficult conversations, we are not willing to engage in such conversations at the family level. Number three, very many parents are ignorant of prudent money management habits. Very many of us have not taken time to learn best practices in the world of money management. We do not know what to do for us to be able to excel financially. We do not know how we need to behave, and therefore we feel we don't have the requisite information, the requisite expertise to be able to influence our own children in the right direction. Many parents are also not aware of the best ways of handling such conversations. They do not know how they will engage their own children in such kind of conversations. They don't know whether they need to gather them for meetings to talk to them about it. They don't know whether they need to buy them books for them to read. They don't know whether they need to just take them to some school somewhere. Many times I get parents requesting that they bring their children so that I can do financial parenting for them. But parenting is a process. It's a never-ending process as long as your child is under your care. So it's not a one-day affair. You cannot send your child to me for financial parenting. You can send them when I am probably training on some particular topics, but it cannot be that I am replacing your financial parenting role. And that's why I have brought this conversation, so that then we can learn and appreciate that it is doable. And then I will also be endeavoring to show you possible and practical ways of you being able to do it at your home with your own children. So if you've been one of those who are wondering how you can have these conversations, then you need to make this conversation your friend. Please subscribe so that you do not miss out. Be sure to press the notification bell. Be sure to leave us a comment if you want me to address any of the areas that probably you've been stranded where financial parenting is concerned. I'll be glad to respond, create a video, and help you as I help other parents on the best ways to be able to handle our children. I'm also eager to learn from you. Let me know what has worked for you and what has not worked for you, because this is a work in progress for all of us. This is a continuing practice, a continuing process. There is no one who graduates from the school of parenting as long as you still have children under your care. Now, it's important for us to also take note of the fact that there is a lot of negative vibes in the world of money today. Very many people are saying negative things, misleading things in the world of money. And because we said there is no vacuum in parenting, if we just leave it open-ended, then these misleading vibes are getting into our children. For example, there are very many people today who are saying loudly that there are no money-making opportunities in this country, in this continent. And they say it every day. without knowing, without noticing that their own children are already becoming desperate. They are already giving up. If their own parents, who are their heroes and heroines in life, are giving up, are pronouncing that there are no opportunities in this side of the world, who are they to believe that there are opportunities? But do you know, it might be very true that there are very many opportunities around. But if the person you're looking forward to, you're looking up to, the person who you've been revering, the person who is next to God in your life, is mentioning that there are no opportunities for making money. Every day they tell you how they are broke. Every day you hear them crying about the inadequacy of money. How will you not believe that indeed there are no opportunities for making money? There are also very many other misleading vibes, like people who say that wealth can only be created through theft. We wake up every morning and everyone else is saying how you can never be wealthy without stealing. Look at so and so, he only has what he has, she only has what she has, because they stole, because they were involved in some corruption scandal. And we are glorifying theft without knowing. We are glorifying stealing, and our children are watching, they are listening. They are also forming a script. Please don't forget again that there can never be a vacuum. Whether you are deliberate or not, parenting is happening. There is also another misleading vibe, the vibe of YOLO. We live in a society where everyone is glorifying the fact that you only live once. Therefore, every money that we have, we just need to spend once. Who cares? Who knows about tomorrow? We don't know if we'll be alive tomorrow, and things like those. And therefore, the next generation that is coming up is being brought up by parents who are glorifying YOLO. The only challenge is that once they have spent everything they needed to spend, and I keep asking them when I meet them the following day, why are you still alive today? You told us yesterday that you only live once. Why are you living twice? Why are you living twice? Okay? And so we are beginning to raise a generation that does not believe in saving. We begin to raise a generation that does not believe in investing, because all the money they get is money meant for consumption, because you only live once. So everything you get, you need to eat everything at once. But let me tell you one thing that I've discovered, and I don't know what your observation has been. In the world of money, when we say tomorrow never comes, in the world of money, tomorrow usually does come, and it comes to haunt you. Many times it comes to ask you, hey, you had money yesterday. I am now here. Why did you spend everything yesterday? And you'll be running up and down, helter-skelter, looking for money for rent. And the previous day you had a lot of money. You're looking for money for food. The previous day you had a lot of money. But because of the misconceptions of YOLO, you ended up spending everything overnight. And now reality begins to bite you. There are also misleading vibes, alluding to the fact that there are wealth creation shortcuts. When I teach about wealth creation, one of the things I must mention is that there are no shortcuts to the process of wealth creation. It is a process, it's not an event. It does not happen overnight. But now we live in a society where people are beginning to tell us how possible it is for us to be able to create wealth without sweating. For us to be able to become instant wealthy people. That cannot happen. While it is true we might become instantly rich, we can never become instantly wealthy. And so every day you wake up, the internet is awash with stories of people who are making millions overnight. They cannot even explain how the millions have happened, but they can tell us how they have withdrawn several millions. They can come on camera and flash millions, and we can see them. And the young man and the young lady coming up begins to admire. They are looking forward, and they begin to follow those people, and they begin to want to be like them. Unfortunately, those people are not giving any concrete formula. They will tell you how they did this, and you know, there are gaps in their stories, and instantly they are withdrawing money. Another misleading vibe in the world of money today is the vibe that says that money should be gotten at all cost. You should be able to do anything possible to get money, including killing other people. The truth is that you can actually attract money. You can work for money without injuring people, without stepping on people, without killing people. The process of attracting money, the process of looking for money should not be a life and death or death situation. You can have fun as you look for money. You can be righteous as you look for money. You can be morally sane as you look for money. You don't have to, tell yourself that you need to do everything possible to make money, and it does not matter what you will have done. Of course, it does matter. I heard of a story of a lady who was asked whether she would consider stripping naked for 10 minutes to be given 1 million shillings. And I loved the response that she gave them. She responded using a question. She asked them, "Can't you make it 1 hour, please?" In other words, she is willing to do anything to get that money. In fact, what you are asking seems to be a smaller thing. How would you ask me to strip for 10 minutes only? Make it 1 hour. I am ready and willing, as long as it brings money. So in a nutshell, we can now talk about financial parenting. We can now define it. So financial parenting is simply the deliberate process of equipping children with timeless money lessons and values so that they can become financially responsible and independent in their future. So why is this conversation necessary? This conversation is crucial because it will help you to break unfavorable history in your family. You see, some of us come from families where poverty has been intergenerational. Our forefathers did not understand the game of wealth creation. They passed their inadequacies to the next generation, which did not do anything about it, and also passed to the generation that followed until it got to us. And if we are not keen to do something ourselves about it, then we are also already passing this same baton to our children. Number two, this conversation will also help you in succession planning. You also want, when you have worked so hard, to create some legacy, to create some wealth for your family, that wealth does not go with you when you exit the stage. God forbid, when you get to leave this world. Many times we've heard of children who begin to squander their father's property. We've heard of families that begin to fight immediately the father or the mother or the breadwinner leaves them. You want that the people who remain behind can be able to take care of that estate and even move it to greater heights. But that can only happen if you learn how you can be able to show those people what you are doing, and to also teach them how they can be able to take your legacy to the next level. Number three, this conversation will also help you be able to nurture independence in your children. You don't want to be in the same house with children who are over 40 years old. They don't want to step out because they are afraid they cannot live on their own. Many times I have met parents who keep coming for one-on-one sessions, or who even confess during classroom sessions how they are finding it difficult having children who cannot step out. Children who've hit 40 years, some of them have married and they are still in their father's house, and the father or mother does not know what to do with them, and it is disappointing them, it is frustrating them. I have met parents who are actually sinking into depression because they are raising children who are not independent, children who have actually caused them to become poor, to become bankrupt, because they've had to sell assets, everything they had to support these children who are adults. Lastly, these conversations will also lead to your own improvement. You cannot give what you don't have. And therefore, for you to want to give, you seek to equip yourself. And also, when you teach your children what you know, you get to reinforce it within yourself. A good friend of mine usually says, to teach is to learn twice. So every time you teach someone something, Every time you demonstrate something to someone, you are also mastering that thing. Now, if we are not deliberate to execute financial parenting, we will be forced to forgive our children for believing that there can be money for nothing. We will need to forgive our children for believing that there are shortcuts to wealth creation. We will forgive them for being used by drug peddlers because they have promised them shortcuts to acquiring money. We will forgive them when they become robbers, when they are lured into the game of trafficking guns and things like those. When they are lured into corruption, we will forgive them because we did not demonstrate to them how wealth is created. We did not show them how money is attracted. We did not show them the right path. They never knew what we were doing for money. They would see us with money, but they were not in a position to be able to understand, to comprehend that this is what my father has done to be able to get this money, or what my mother has done to be able to get the money that they have. We will be forced to forgive them. So you can do better. Join me next week, Tuesday, for more financial parenting insights. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Don't forget to leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this conversation. Let me be able to see your questions if you have any. Let me know which other areas you would want me to address so that we can be able to put our heads together and come up with solutions that will help this coming generation. Please like this video. Feel free to share it with your friends. Invite your friends to also subscribe to this channel so that we can continue learning together.